So, this here is going to be my video for the check-in for the Ubisoft NXT Level Design Challenge. So this is what I've submitted for Ubisoft for their check-in date. For level design specifically, they have a check-in date where you're supposed to submit the work you've done so far. So let's do a little bit of a let's play here and go over some of the work I've done so far. We can just start with hitting the little play button here. So I've moved well, first of all, I've built up this area here, which is the sandbar. And the idea was that as soon as the player starts, they get a view of the entire ship itself, especially the being able to see that there is stuff at the top there for some secrets and stuff. But getting an entire view of the layout of the ship at the very start was kind of my goal, and also be able to check to see where some enemy pathing was and be able to see that there is some enemies on the top floor. Here is a little marker here that goes over the mission objective. Hello, Agent. Your mission is to recover vital information from the Senator who is being held captive on this yacht, retrieve the info, and make it back here safely to complete the mission. So, through some testing, I unfortunately I forced some of my classmates to suffer through playing through my level, and through that I got some really good information on how people with no frame of reference are able to go through the level, understand where the most difficult to navigate parts are, and stuff like that. It's good to have the eyes of people who haven't seen the layout before, because when you're creating, you know where everything is already, so having that fresh mindset is always good, especially when people who aren't experienced playing video games get the chance to play it. Now, from here, the player is given two options. They can either take the leftmost path, which has this little ladder here. Most people went for the rightmost path, which is taking the stairwell up to the main deck. That was kind of my intention. I wanted this area here to be much more obvious, so the player was kind of incentivized to go up here, and then have the leftmost path be kind of more obscured. So let's take the rightmost path, because it's the path that most people take, it seems. So now we are on the main deck. From here, the player is given the option to either take the leftmost path to go up to the top deck, or the rightmost path to go to the top deck. I found that through testing with people who haven't played the game before, that they tended to go up more towards this side, so let's go up here. From here, the player can go either to the sun deck or over here to the main navigation room. I found that most people went straight to the sun deck because it's kind of a straight path up this way. Up here, there isn't necessarily too much just yet, but the intention is that once this level is completed, there will be on a timer, and up here you can disable the timer to make things easier, kind of a little secret area to make it so people who are struggling can make the game a bit easier for themselves diegetically. The trade-off being that you get a worse score in the end if you go up and you turn off the security system, or you turn off the timer. As you can see, somebody's heard me over here. That is something I've been trying to work towards, is having it so the AI can hear you a bit less, because I found that if you're on the top floors, that the guys on the below deck can hear you, and that's not necessarily a good thing because it disrupts the AI and all their pathing. Let's go over here to this way. This camera here pans back and forth just to make it so it slows down the pacing a bit and stops people from going all the way up to the sun deck in one clear shot. And this room here is in here to help duck and hide behind this camera. There's supposed to be a laser here, but I had to remove it because when I had some trouble packaging my project, which the problem ended up being that these lasers here didn't have like a defined target or something to debug and go through when I get to the final project. Let's just wait for this camera to pass by. There is an enemy in this room over here. There's a little note here. So had this guy not bother me, let's just quickly kill him, and we'll read this note. This is note 2, and it's done. This is a bit of a spelling mistake. There should be only 4 digits on here. 1XXX. So, oh my goodness, I'm dead. Anyway, the goal here is that the player reads this note and understands that they have to find 3 more notes similar to it to be able to access the access the code to get into the Senator's office. Let's go back up here and I can show you what my intentions are with what the notes will look like when they're finished. I have one with a bit more flavor text to show that to give a bit more of a hint to the player on what they're supposed to be looking for, basically. It's just in here. Okay. Project repair notes. Projector repair notes. Hey Mike, thanks for covering my shift this week. Being the projector repairman is super easy. If any problems show up, just unplug and replug the projector. You'll have lots of free time, so feel free to watch a couple movies during your shift. The senator keeps the best movies in his office. If you're sneaky enough, you can get and raid his stash. The code for the door is X1XX by Rob. So this is kind of the flavor I want to go for with the with these notes. So depending on where the player is able to find the first note, I want to let them know that the code is for the door to the senator's office, and have a bit more flavor text on maybe like what happened on the ship, a little bit more story, and just some more fun stuff like that. As you can see here, I've been spotted. Yeah, you can kill these guys through the doors. It's a bit of a predicament. I have to tweak the AI a bit, but for now, Ubisoft only wanted to have the basic level blockout done. And here's the kitchen. Some guy pans back and forth here. And then we're going to get to this main area here, which at first was the dining room and then also a little bit of a poolside bar area. But since then it has changed to be combined together, and mostly just been the bar, because in terms of size, I've had a bit of a problem readjusting with the metrics involved. Metrics are very annoying to deal with, I've come to learn. All right, over here we have the back of the ship. Down here we can talk to this NPC, the chef, to get the key to the pantry. Uh-oh, another enemy. He was supposed to be over here patrolling around this path with the boat. Or this is a garage here. He essentially patrols around and circle around this area here, and the player is able to tuck behind this area. As I was saying, the player can tuck into this room here to avoid detection from the enemy patrolling around this circular boat. And then here is the generator room, which can turn off the cameras, and then also, for the trade-off, they're turning off the elevator and turning off the doors. So if the player is struggling, they can go over here and turn off the power. For now, this doesn't really do anything, but it's a function to work on when we get to the final product. So let's go back here, and we can take some of the stairwells from up here to these rooms. Oh, this is not supposed to be open. It's a locked door. And in this room here, we can find another note, which is XX1X. So for now, the code is 111 and then an unknown. This area here was a bit of a problem to deal with. The idea was that there would be a big winding path here that would lead to the map room, which is this room over here. But due to some recent metrics changes, I've had to change this layout, and leaving this area open made it way too easy to avoid going through the main deck entirely. So instead, it's been replaced by these two locked doors. This one here is supposed to be closed, but for now it's open because I've accidentally left it open. The key to these doors is over here in the security room. Originally, the security room had a breaker that could disable the cameras, but because it was in such close proximity to the main breaker in the engine room, I decided to remove that and instead put the key in here to unlock basically a shortcut throughout the ship. I found this to be a much better solution because the only way to get to the very back end of the ship is by going through the main deck. And once you unlock this this key here, you're able to quite easily navigate your way back this way, kind of like a shortcut. Here is the door to the senator's office. You can see the senator inside. 111, and then we have an unknown. Let's go for 1. This doesn't work. The final note is down here in the lower deck. Oh, fellas, come on, come down. This is the starting area for when you come in from the alternate pathway. You can see this where the player starts over there. And if they take this nice right here, they can go to the captain's quarters and get to the last note, which should say XXX2. So the code should be 1112. Now all we have to do is go all the way back, avoiding these cameras. There's no enemies left, so there's really no point in avoiding the cameras. Actually, we can even go back this way because we have the pantry key, and through it we can unlock the pantry door and then take the elevator all the way back up to the senator. If you manage to find the secret path by getting the key beforehand and talk to the senator, he will give you the access code to the door here. But for now, we've completed our objective. We talked to the senator, and now the mission is to get all the way back without dying. And then we could just take this ladder here, and then take this down here again. Go through here, take this ladder out, and then go back to the spawn. And then we throw ourselves over the edge because we've won. And for now, that is the game. For my submission to UBISOFT, I had to do a write-up that was basically a change log of all the changes I've made from my original layout, and how I've translated it over to a 3D environment in Unreal Engine. So I've made sure to outline all my changes, particularly the size of the elevator and how much it's affected the rest of my level, the removal of the art gallery and the bedroom in here, and also the combining of the dining room and the bar area. Excuse me, over here. What else was there to talk about? For now, I'm just waiting to hear back from them to see if I'm in the top 5 and what kind of questions I'll be, what kind of answers they'll provide for me. Even since I've emailed them, I continue to make revisions and try to progress with my level. As for concerns right now, it's trying to figure out how to make the level more navigable by using level design on its own. That is something I want to work towards. This area here was initially much more closed off, and I found that players would constantly skip out on this area here because it was so hard to see that there was in fact ladders going up and down here. So what I did was I've widened this hallway here, and then I've also put these slanted wedges in, facing inwards towards the ladders here to help draw the player's eye in this direction and give them a hint that there is stuff over here to be able to look for and to see. If the player starts down here, I've also reduced the size of this area here. It's a little bit of a bug here, but you'll probably ignore that for now. There, boom. No harm, no foul. I've decreased the size here so the player is able to more easily see this path this way. And then because this area is like the secret pantry, I think it's fine for it to be a little bit more restrictive. Or not restrictive, but like a little bit more out of the way to be able to see. Finding a way to have it so that this area here is a bit more noticeable to the player because it is necessary to progress is kind of an important aspect I'm looking for. One of the things I'm thinking is, because if the player takes the original, not the original, but like the main path, which is on the main deck through this stairwell here, then when they go down this ladder, the first thing that they will see upon turning this way is that there is a hallway here, making it so this area is pretty easily to spot. Pretty easy to spot. The problem being that this here, once the player comes in, it's a little bit harder to see stuff. I put this window in here to not only avoid the cameras, but also because it does show off a bit of this this hallway here that does lead towards the captain's quarters. But having the player's eye be drawn towards areas that do actually contain the code to the senator's office is the main goal. But anyway, that should be it for now. Many more revisions along the way. I hope UBISOFT likes what we've done so far. Building up the story and building up the diegetic navigational cues is something I'm looking forward to working on. But that's the video for now. I look forward to hearing back from UBISOFT, and hopefully next week I will have another video out on this channel going over my progress to the next stage of this project. And even if I don't get selected in the top 5 now, I'm still going to work towards it. Just to have a finished project at the end because I want to use this for my P1 for school. So anyway, that'll be it for now. Thank you for listening in.